What's up guys, it's Lily
and Jade,
and today things are getting romantical. Me and Jade are going to be drawing and explaining some of our favorite OC couples. Specifically, these couples consist of one character made by me and one character made by Jade. And put them together, that's when the magic happens. So this video will be very OC lore based. I hope you guys enjoy that and stick around.
Also, if my voice sounds a little funny, I'm recovering from a terrible cold, so be warned. Now let's get into the drawings.
Okay, for the first couple, I felt like the choice was pretty obvious. Me and Jade will be drawing Milo and Fern. Yay! I figured that if we made a video of drawing couples and we didn't include Milo and Fern, we would be drawn and quartered in the Frog and Bunny town square.
No.
So these guys have appeared in a couple of our videos before. They even have their own video that's solely about them. But in case you're not familiar, these two characters actually originated as furries as a part of our 30-day furry drawing challenge that we did quite a long time ago now.
Our first art video.
It's our first art video. And then we ended up making them into human characters. So the one on the left is Milo. That's my character, and he's part Tasmanian devil, as that was his species when he was a furry individual. And the character on the right is Fern, Jade's character, who is half maned wolf and half fox. And for these drawings, me and Jade decided to play around with a few different couple prompt generators just to get some inspiration on maybe what we could draw the characters doing, because we were a little lost at the beginning. So a prompt that I got that I thought would be cute for Milo and Fern was prom night. We had already drawn them in high school before, so we already had those designs kind of ready to go. All I had to do was put them in some cute outfits, which I thought was really fun. Milo, he's emo, so he's wearing a black three-piece suit and a gray shirt and a dark maroon tie. Fern is wearing a very green outfit, as is his calling card, with a vest and some corduroy pants and a shirt with a little green bow tie and little clovers on the collar. Canonically, Milo and Fern are 22 years old in the year 2005. So in this picture where they're aged down a little bit, they're 17 years old and it is the year 2000. For the background, I was looking at different photos from prom nights from the early 2000s, and I found this one in particular that had this cute backdrop of a moonlit ocean with flowers and drapery, so I did something kind of similar to that. And lastly, I recently made a playlist for Milo and Fern, so you guys can check it out if you are interested. It has some bangers on it, I will say. Anyway, I like this drawing. I think it might be my favorite one. It's all downhill from here. No. But I like how Fern looks like a beautiful elf prince and Milo looks like a mafia boss.
So the prompt that I chose for Milo and Fern was cold weather. So this was actually the last drawing that I drew, and I was kind of stuck on what to draw for it. I ended up doing this collage. So I have a close-up of Fern's phone with his keychains and chibis of Milo and Fern in the corner. And on the phone screen is a epic selfie of Milo and Fern, and Milo is giving Fern a little kiss on the cheek. For Fern's keychains, I gave him a Moomin keychain, which I based off a real Moomin keychain I saw on Pinterest. And I gave him a Snoopy, a Christmassy Snoopy, and a Jingle Bell, and a Spotty Dotty that's creeping in the corner, and some stars because he likes stars. I really like rendering phones, specifically flip phones. They're really fun to render, especially the buttons, because they're like water droplets, at least some of them. But the way that I like to render them is like water droplets. For their outfits, I mostly based Milo's off of the picture that Lily drew for the challenge we had done of them. And for Fern, I gave him a matching hat and scarf, and of course, some leg warmers. And also I was thinking drawing this was when I draw animal hybrid people like this, when I give them hats, I make their ears sticking out. And I'm like, wouldn't their ears get cold? Isn't that the point of it?
Oh yeah, but it wouldn't be as cute.
It wouldn't be as cute. So we kind of freeze their ears off. And for the photo on the phone, I had to put an effect on it to make it actually look like a flip phone screen, and I noticed that most of them tend to have this blue hue to them, and of course with some chromatic aberration.
Next up, we have a lesbian couple. You might recognize these ladies from me and Jade's video where we drew our favorite foods as cute girls. So the girl on the left is Maple, Jade's character, and she is based off of Jade's favorite breakfast food, which is a
Waffle.
Meanwhile, the girl on the right, her name is Pamela. She's my character, and she's based off of a pancake. These ladies don't have too much going on story-wise, but in the concept of the video, we decided that they were from rival bands, but they fell in love, like Romeo and Juliet. So for this picture, I wanted to draw them having a wonderful winter Christmassy sleepover. They're at Pamela's house, which I believe that she inherited from her grandma. So it's kind of old. They are starting a movie and they're going to be drinking some hot cocoa. And they're also joined by Pamela's doggy, who is a French bulldog named Butter. I thought it would suit him with like pancakes, butter. I also one time had a dog in Minecraft whose name was Butter, and he had a yellow collar. So since they're having a sleepover, I got to draw them wearing some PJs, which I was excited for. For Maple's pajamas, I gave her some plaid pants. In her original design, I believe that she had plaid as a part of her outfit, which I think is a pretty smart choice, with it correlating to the square shape of the waffle, because Jade's just smart like that. And also, it's not super obvious, but her shirt is meant to be in the style of a waffle knit shirt.
Yes.
I had a stroke of genius. This was before I'd even started drawing this picture, but me and Jade were at the thrift store and I saw a waffle knit shirt and I said, when I draw Maple and Pamela, I should draw Maple wearing a waffle shirt. Because she's a waffle girl. So I did do that. Pamela is wearing a nice baby blue old lady nightgown. Makes me think of the nightgowns in the Polar Express. It's probably something Jade would wear.
Yes.
I ended up really liking the rendering that I did on the nightgown. I really like rendering clothes. And I think the nightgown came out pretty good. And then I also really like the rendering on the big box TV in the bottom corner. What movie do you think they're watching? Polar Express? Maybe. I was also thinking about Home Alone because at some point while I was working on this, I did watch Home Alone.
So for mine, I didn't really go with the prompt. I was just like, I think Waffle should be carrying Pancake, because she's super strong. For this one, I wanted to make it more simple for me to draw because we were already drawing a lot of other stuff and my other ones had more details and backgrounds included. So I was like, I need to take a break. And I was like, what should I put beside them? Pancakes and waffles, of course. So I put a magical flying stack of waffles and pancakes with a pitcher dripping syrup down them. I added a lace border, which if you're wanting to draw lace, it's pretty easy when you use the symmetry tool. You just kind of be like, I just draw these weird lines and make sure they connect to each other. I also added some strawberries and blueberries on the pancakes and waffles. I was like, that coincides with the accent colors of the girls, because Pamela has blue accents and Maple has red accents. Lastly, I added a stripe pattern in the background, as well as the white sticker effect.
Next up, we have the one and only straight couple in the video.
Whoa.
This is another pair of characters who have appeared on this channel, specifically in our randomized character OC video where we did like a roulette wheel of different traits and then made characters based on our results. So the first character on the left is Jade's. Her name is Clementine and she is a bear girl, Gyaru. And the guy on the right is my character. He's a catboy named Johnny. In the original video, they did not have names, but they got names now. I wanted to draw them at the beach because I had this specific image in my mind of Clementine wearing a leopard print bikini. For a little bit of their backstory, this was actually inspired by a commenter on the character design roulette video who spoke words of genius because they suggested that since these characters are animal hybrids, then they can be a part of the Milo and Fern universe. Yes! Whoever you are, thank you! That's such a good idea, me and Jade didn't even think of it. So I had this little meet cute scenario that I imagined. Since Fern is a model, I thought that maybe Clementine is also a model who works with him and they're like besties. And at one point, Fern invites Clementine to see Milo playing at the club where he performs with his band because Fern wants to show off his awesome emo boyfriend. But who does Clementine see at the club? None other than Johnny the cat boy. I don't really know what he's doing there, like if he's also in a band or he's a bartender or something, but I did like the idea of Clementine seeing him for the first time where he's on stage, kind of like that part from the Lego Batman movie where Lego Batman's like, whoa. So she's like, who is that beautiful pink-haired cat boy? Fern, give me his number. But anyway, for this picture, they're just like standing there. This was probably my most simple drawing. Has my favorite background ever to draw, which is a sky and a cloud and a sea. It's the only background I know how to do. And I really liked rendering this picture because, mainly because of some of Clementine's attributes. That's just how it goes. Who doesn't like to draw a beautiful lady in her swimsuit? A detail that I misconstrued in this picture is the fact that their height difference is crazy. When I got the results for Johnny, his height said short. So I was like, okay, me and Jade made these lineups with all the characters that we will be including, and as you can see, Johnny is 5'2". Clementine's result was extra tall, so she is 6'4".
Yes.
So she's a foot and 2 inches taller than Johnny, which obviously I did not draw them with that height discrepancy. So canonically, Johnny is standing on a sandcastle. So he can be at least, you know, like shoulder-ish height. Also, lastly, I imagine that Clementine calls Johnny Johnny Cake.
For my drawing, I wanted to draw Clementine and Johnny singing at a karaoke place. So I decided that they were singing a duet with each other, looking into each other's eyes lovingly. And the song that they are singing is Love is Strange, which is on the Milo and Fern playlist because it's canonically in their universe. I gave Johnny a bunch of barrettes in his hair, along with some epic keychains on his pant loops, a gloomy bear, and Rilakuma. And they're wearing different outfits from their previous designs, because they're fashionistas, and they're always on that grind of wearing different outfits. And Johnny has little beads in his hair. One says J for Johnny. There's also Clover, which is funny because both me and Lily gave him Clover hair clips, and we didn't even know.
It wasn't in his original design or the reference that I made, but we knew it was true.
For Clementine, I gave her this cute mini dress with her bazongas out, of course, and her beautiful long acrylics that she will scratch you with. And for the background, first of all, I was like, what the friggy does a karaoke room look like? So I had to do some research. But I put a phone in the background because there's usually phones to like call your orders. I did not draw that phone. I just cut it out. And there's also a pattern on the wall, like a wallpaper. I didn't draw that either. Just a Pinterest image. I also put a carpet texture along the bottom of the wall. And for the TV, I made a karaoke screen. I saw that a lot of them were either like the music video playing or just like some scenic images. So I put an image. I had this flowering tree in my yard, and then I typed the lyrics out and colored some of them like it was scrolling karaoke text. And then I had to hit it with the chromatic aberration. I also added texture layer using the Tarking brush in Procreate. That's like this awesome brush. It just gives like these lines. Me and Lily are constantly using it. And then lastly, I put this musical wind flowing through the background.
For this next drawing, a quick disclaimer for a little bit of blood and injury. So if that would make you feel uncomfortable, you can feel free and skip ahead to Jade's drawing of this couple. But anyway, now we're getting into some unfamiliar territory. These are some new characters never before seen. The character on the left is named Atsushi. He is a ninja and he belongs to Jade. And the character who's freaking lacerated on the right, his name is Ako. He's mine and he's a samurai. And these two characters are in like a fantasy Japanese inspired world. I won't get too into their story because I think Jade's got that covered. She's been doing much more heavy lifting on the narrative side. But just some basic backstory. These guys are enemies to lovers in the sense that Atsushi was originally going to kill Ako, but he didn't. I decided to draw after they've already fallen in love and gone AWOL. Ako, as a very high-ranking samurai, essentially defects from the emperor that he works for, and him and Atsushi escape together, so they're like on the run. This is the aftermath of some altercation that they experienced with like the soldiers of the emperor, because Ako is basically wanted for treason at this point. So he's freaking battered and bloodied. He has this like big slice on his side, which originally I was just intending for it to be like a sword wound, but later on when me and Jade were talking about this more being like a fantasy world, I was like, maybe it's a little magical with some like purpley tendrils expanding from it. Kind of creepy. A little bit like K-pop demon unders. For this setting, not that there's a very detailed background, but just for the context, I imagine that while they're escaping, they're taking shelter in some like little inn in the mountains, run by some like grandma, I don't know. And you might say, wow, they got no clothes on. They do have more detailed outfits, probably the most detailed and thought out outfits in this video, and I was like, no, I'm taking all their clothes off and they're wearing their little crop toppy underpants. I figure it made sense for Ako because he's bleeding all over the place, so he probably wants to get the top layer of his clothes off so he can be healed. But at one point I was like, maybe Atsushi should be wearing some more clothes. It looks kind of crazy. But then I realized I wouldn't get to render his midriff and his thighs, which like, that's what it's all about. When I was doing the rendering for reference, I was looking at pictures of Dave Gone from Depeche Mode because he had quite a few crop top looks back in the 80s. So that was helpful to me. And also with the rendering, for Atsushi's design, the color and texture of his hair is supposed to be like Jade, the stone, not the human. Jade made her own character based off of the stone of her own name. So for inspiration, I was looking at pictures from the anime The Land of the Lustrous, which I haven't seen, but it's an anime about like gem people. They have like beautiful shimmering glistening hair, so I was referencing that. I imagine that Atsushi is represented by Jade and Ako is represented by Sapphire. So he has really dark blue eyes and a bit of a bluish hue to his black hair.
So what I decided to do, which was one of the prompts that I had seen, was first encounter. So I drew the first time they met each other, which was a tragic moment. In the story, Ako is the emperor's favorite samurai, and he's well known. And Atsushi is a high-ranking ninja. So he was hired to kill Ako. So we were picturing that he was hired probably by a rival nation or something. I decided to make it kind of like a manga paneling. You would read it right to left. I couldn't picture the scenario in just one shot. I just like needed to do all the shots. So it's the middle of the winter and Atsushi creeps into Ako's, not his house, but like his quarters, yeah. So the first shot is like a close-up of Atsushi's face. Below that is Ako, and he's like, me. He wakes up and he's like, what's going on here? And then in the last panel, you're like, oh no, Atsushi's gonna stab Acorn. But for some reason, Atsushi is hesitating. I don't know, he can't kill him. Because he hesitated, Acorn woke up. And I picture after the scene, he's like, wow, and he does a flip backwards.
Whoa.
And they fight each other. That's their first encounter. I enjoyed drawing the background for this, at least the screens of his room, and put a lot of multiply layers in a dark blue and a lot of soft light layers of light blue to give it that cool, snowy light.
Lastly, we have another lesbian couple. And this time we got some freaking maid Yuri. These ladies are maids, both from different countries. What country, you might say? I'm so glad you asked. So to backtrack, me and Jade have a couple of characters that are inserts for the series Hetalia. They are fictional nations, so basically countries that we made up and then personified. So my character is named Nevela, and she's a tiny lady who represents a tiny, cold, frigid island. Jade's character is named Momomiki. She's a beautiful woman who represents a lovely, lush, warm, tropical paradise. If you want to see more about them, they were first in our anime style challenge, and then I also drew them for Cringetober. So you can check out those videos if you are intrigued. But anyway, back to the maid girls. My character, who's on the left, her name is Lisi. She is from the fictional country of Nevela. Meanwhile, Jade's character on the right, her name is Maru. She is from Momomiki. Wow, it all makes sense. Nevela as a country is largely inspired by Slavic nations, and Momomiki culturally is like a mix of Spain and Japan. For the setting, these ladies are from the past. They're from long ago. Me and Jade are thinking like the 1890s. And the backstory that I was kind of thinking over in my head is I imagine that maybe they are employed by the ambassadors of either nation. So like Momomiki and Nevela are close allies. So perhaps Lisi works for the Nevelan ambassador to Momomiki, and vice versa. Maru works for the Momomiki ambassador to Nevela. So they travel back and forth between the two countries a lot. As kind of an explanation to how they would know each other at this time in the position that they have. So for my drawing, I kind of came up with this little scene taking place in Nevela where they are dancing together. I picture this being very late at night, maybe after some fancy embassy ball. After the party is done and all their work is finished for the evening, they sneak back out to the ballroom and kind of dance together in the light of the moon. I thought that would be pretty cute. And a little detail that I added to Maru's design was, considering the fact that this takes place in Nevela, which is very, very cold, I gave her a little undershirt under her uniform. Because I thought, since she's used to working in hot and humid Momomiki, probably be getting the shivers in icicle land, such as Nevela. So I thought that would be fun. I love Maru's design. I've said this time and time again. I think Jade is like a genius when it comes to character design.
Thank you.
I don't know what it is. And a lot of times I feel like they're simple, but they work so well. I think Maru's so cute. I love her little loopy braids. When I was drawing them, they were reminding me of mochi donuts. Also, for the background, this was where I faltered. Initially tried to do like some window and I gave up, and I looked up a picture of a Russian ballroom, I think, and painted on top of it. This was the last drawing I did, so I was getting to the end of my rope.
Last piece of the video. I went off the rails. My prompt that I chose for this was baking. So I decided to make them baking together. You could say I drew a lot of baked goods. I love drawing baked goods.
You cannot stop Jade when it comes to drawing some tasty treats.
First I started with these tarts that Maru is sprinkling some powdered sugar on top of. Originally she was putting berries on it, but I changed it. And then on the right, I drew some cream puffs on like a tiered display. And I added a lot of powdered sugar to a lot of the treats. And I did the powdered sugar by using this watercolor brush first to give it the base coat. And then I added some little white dots. So then I drew a strawberry cake and a blueberry pie. I also drew some baskets hanging from what I imagine is like one of those things that hangs over an island. I also have jelly cookies with some cream on them. And then I have a bowl that has probably like chocolate chip cookie dough in it. And the last pastry is a crepe cake. I really want a crepe cake right now. They're also in Momomiki. I never said that they're in Momomiki, but that's where they are. And Momomiki is a land full of billions of fruits. So that's why all of the pastries, except for the cookie dough, has fruits in it. I was, for some reason, struggling with the people in this one. I don't know, I was just having a bad time. I was warping Lisi's face so much. And I went back in the video and I was like, no, I liked it before. But what can you do? I added a background. There's a window where you can see into the land of Momomiki, and there's some beautiful flowers peeking in, along with a bit of a building peeking in. I imagine that there's a lot of terracotta roof buildings in Momomiki. I love terracotta roofs.
This is my favorite picture that Jay did in the video. I think it's so cute. And all the desserts look so scrumptious. Bro, I gotta eat them.
Well, guess what?
What?
My favorite one you did was the one you did of them. And that was all the drawings. This was hard.
This one was a little bit more intensive than usual. There was a lot of background work and character interactions that maybe we don't get as often when creating like character design pieces. But it's good for you. You know? And I do think it was fun to like flesh out their worlds a little bit, get thinking about their story. Comment down below if you have any of your own favorite OC couples. Let us know the lore.
We like to hear lore. And as always, let us know any future videos you'd like to see from us. And good night.